DreAllDay.com.
Welcome to the Anna and Dre Show. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and this
is my thigh.
Yes, it is. That's correct. Facts.
I'm Anna Dolce.
All right, and we are here today. We are talking about cleaning your man up, or cleaning a man up.
Cleaning a man up.
Yeah. So the topic is it's like this: you meet a guy, and you can see that he has potential, but he's not at that potential quite yet. Whether that be in the way that he thinks, the way that he walks, he talks, the way he dresses, where he is at in his career, what he has materially. You see that he's not quite there yet, and maybe you might even be a little bit ahead of him.
Yes.
You, at the time you meet him, do you decide on that? How do you decide whether or not to proceed with that guy if you're... So let me ask the first question. We'll break this down. Sometimes I ask these compound questions. So the first one is, would you date a dude if you can tell by your estimate, looking at him and what he has and how he presents himself and looking at yourself, would you date a guy if you feel like you're a little bit ahead of him right now? At that moment, would you date him?
Ahead of him as far as what? What he
Just
has,
period.
what he's...
As far as what he has, what he's doing in his career, his life, the way he presents himself. You can see he can get better, but he's not there yet. And where you are is a little bit further than him.
Yeah.
Would you date that guy?
No.
Why?
Because that's not enough. I need to know that I will date him if he's moving, if he's
that's what I mean.
there.
But he's not there yet.
If
but
he's walking or running, at least crawling to where he needs to be. But if he's just not on my level and I'm higher than him in all those ways, then no, I will not date him.
But he has to be in the process at least.
He has to be in the process of acquiring or getting to whatever he needs to get to be on my level. But I think the biggest trap is for women to fall in love with guys with potential. Like women fall in love with potential all the time, you know?
It's like the NBA draft.
Yeah, it's a cop out for like, oh my God, I can fix him, you know, look at him. If not this, if not that, if not the other, he would be wonderful. Well, he's not. Like he's not. Like he's not because he's not. Like it's hard to accept for women. Like we have to, oh my God, we have to go and fix them and please them and do all this and hope. That's like work for love. They want to work for love. And my whole thing is, you don't work for love. I don't grind for love. Love is just given to me because I deserve it, because I am love, and you should give it to me because I give it to you, and it just, whatever. But I'm not grinding for love. I'm not falling in love with your potential.
So what you just said is what NBA teams do every summer during NBA drafts.
Do what?
They pick a player, not necessarily based on what the player has already proven, but based on what they think the player will prove in the future. NBA teams do this in the summer, not just with the draft, but even with players who've already been picked.
Yeah.
The players have played a year or 2 or 4, have shown some potential to get better, but they haven't actually done it. But then the team will give them this contract that says you've already proven it, betting that the player will actually be motivated to improve after they get the reward. And sometimes it works out, and many times it does not. So you just said you would date a guy if you see he's in the process of getting better. So how do you gauge whether the guy is going to actually keep going up, or if he has flatlined and he's going to stay where he is? You got 2 dudes in the exact same spot. How do you know which one is actually going to go up and which one's going to stay straight?
So the way I can tell is he curious? Is he asking questions? Is he looking for answers? Is he like inquisitive when he sees things? Like, do things and other people who are ahead of him, do they make him think? Or does he gloss over and be like, oh yeah, you know, those people have that and this is just my life? Like you can tell what his attitude is by how interested he is in the things that he doesn't have yet that he wants. So if he has an attitude or like, oh, you know, I have this wealthy friend and, you know, everything is given to him and like he's so wealthy and his life is a dream, but here I am, you know, I'm on my little grind over here and that's how it is. You know, then you can tell like he has a fixed mindset. He's not going anywhere. He's not trying to improve. He doesn't want what he says he wants. He's just looking at other people's lives in somewhat jealousy, right? And he's probably even putting them down instead of saying like, you know what, that guy's such an inspiration. You know, he's done this and this and this, and I think I can do something different my way, like this and this and this and this. Like you can tell how they think. You just have to listen, right? You just have to look and listen.
Okay, so let's talk about our relationship when we first met. All right, so we went on our first time ever meeting. What was? I didn't even say nothing yet. All right, our first time ever meeting. What was the first thing you noticed about me physically that made you say, I'm not quite sure about this guy? First thing you saw.
You were wearing a do-rag and pants that were oversized.
That was the style back then.
Sweater that was way too long.
Oh yeah, I have a sweater. I had on a jacket.
Or whatever, jacket.
Yeah,
and he had black Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones is hot.
And black Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones?
I hate.
Y'all tell me. Air Force Ones?
Black Air Force Ones.
All right, black Air Force Ones come in white and black.
They were ugly. They
and
were
a bunch of other colors now.
They were so ugly.
What's ugly about a plain black pair of sneakers?
And your pants were short.
They were wide.
What
I have on jeans or sweatpants? It was
he had
jeans.
sweatpants on. He shows up on a date with a girl.
A girl, yes, that's who I date.
With a do-rag on and
a do-rag. I had to keep my hair.
That are way too wide and way too short. I was like, is he for real? Like, is this a worker of a restaurant, or is this guy that why is he standing at my table? Like, why is he standing there like he's awaiting my arrival? Like,
all right,
who is this guy?
First of all, I had a hat on over the do-rag, right?
Then but I can tell you had a do-rag on.
Yeah, because I had to keep my waves down. This is before I started shaving. I shaved my hair. I'm not bald by nature. I'm bald by choice.
Oh, my God.
But I had to keep my waves down with the do-rag. I wore it every night. It was a normal thing.
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, is he joking?
The Air Force Ones, y'all tell me, Air Force Ones, all black Air Force Ones, are those out of style? We talking, what was this, 5 years ago?
Air Force Ones
5-6 years
are
ago.
in style now, but in 2014...
They always been in style. When are they not in style?
In 2014, it was just, they were outdated. They look like something your dad wore like 20 years ago.
Everybody wears Air Force Ones.
You wore 20 years ago. They were too old looking.
All right, so y'all be the judge on Air Force Ones. Black Air Force Ones, was it a period when they were not in style?
You were wearing black Air Force Ones and like wide sweatpants with them. It was not even put together. Like, it was just bad. It was just bad.
Okay. So y'all be the judge on the Air Force Ones and the do-rag. Listen, that was what it was at that time. So how did I survive through that first encounter? How did I even make it from encounter number 1 to encounter number 2, even though my physical appearance, damn near from the head to foot, you just trashed my whole layout from head to foot. I didn't have on anything that you approved of. Why did you continue to the next encounter after seeing what you saw? What happened that made you say, let me keep going?
Because I saw that your exterior, like the way you looked, your image was not evolved, where like internally you were evolved in the way that was in a way that I appreciated it. So I was sitting there and thinking, oh my God, the way this guy looks and how he thinks just do not add up. What's the disconnect? Is this a joke? Is he joking right now? Or is this, I was lost. I was baffled. Not lost, I was baffled kind of. So the way you survived is by, first of all, your mind, and also you were consistent and you kept your word. Like, he would say, like, okay, I'm going to call you on this and this day, and he would. Because at that time, texting was becoming very, very prominent already. Like, it was becoming, texting was common and speaking on the phone was not common. And he would call. He would always call, and he would actually speak, and he would actually be personable, and he would keep his word. So then that's how I was like, okay, I'll go on a second date. Okay, let's see what this is about. And I was kind of trying to study you. And that's how you made it.
So this first date, what was it? Because this is for what we're trying to suss out here. It's not really about me and you. It is, but it's not. So for the men out there who maybe physically they don't have the resources, or they don't have the information to make themselves look like somebody out of a magazine, or they just don't know. Like back then at that time, the way I was dressed at that date, I just had on like mostly athletic gear because that's what I wore every fucking day. I didn't really give a fuck. I didn't have no dress up clothes. I didn't have any. So,
but bad athletic gear, like worn out
there's no such thing as bad athletic
that
gear.
like worn out stuff that like you wear maybe when nobody's looking, but like you don't go out in public and look like that. I was like, what is he wearing? His pants are too short.
Athletic gear is only as bad as the athlete who's wearing it. So I was
It
a
was
great
just
athlete.
like
I was a professional athlete.
non-trendy, like not like it was just like low quality clothes. To me, it looked like
These was
worn
Nike.
out stuff.
Nike is not low
It
quality.
looked like you've washed
It's a Nike
it like
jacket,
800 times.
Nike jacket, Nike sweats, Nike sneakers. I had on Nike
But there
socks.
was all like it looked
Nike
like a
is not low
hodgepodge,
quality.
like nothing went together.
It was all Nike. What you mean?
You were not put together.
All right, so
You should have seen who I dated before you, and then you would have known why I was baffled.
I should have seen. Wow, what did they wear? That person.
They were very well put together.
What they have on? Lay it out.
Name brands, like
Nike is a name brand.
Guys that I dated before, their image was like straight out of GQ.
GQ. Mine was straight out of motherfucking Nike.com.
No, like hood.
Yeah, Nike.com.
Yeah, like weird.
I was in the gym every day.
Weird,
That's what I did for a
weird
living. I
clothes.
didn't.
Weird
For a living, I wore athletic gear for a living. That's what I did. But anyway, so the question that I was saying, I'm asking this question for the man who doesn't know what it means to be straight out of GQ. I still don't know what the fuck that means, to be straight out of GQ. If I wanted to know what that meant, I would ask her, but I don't know. And for the man who doesn't know that, or maybe they don't have the resources, they don't have a lot of, their clothes game is not like that.
Right.
Right? Like mine wasn't then.
Right.
And they still want to talk to a woman who is advanced and going somewhere. They want to present themselves to that woman in a way that she'll be interested, but they can't do it through their clothes. They just can't. So I want to ask this question for them and for the woman who is on the level that you were on intellectually, and they're looking at a dude who is looking the level that I was on, and she's like, hell no. But why might she pause and say, you know what, let me give this dude another chance? So for both of those people, this is the question. What was it that you heard from me that I said that overcame what you saw physically? What was it that you heard out of my head that made you say, all right, what I saw physically, maybe there's something else to this? What was it?
I think I heard a lot of things, but overarching kind of concept that I got from our conversation was that you were inquisitive. Like I would say something and you would ask questions about it. And that's how I knew, like, you were thinking and you were deliberating in your head and you were a thinker, right? And I knew that as long as you were a thinker, I could help you, I could direct you, and I could lead you to things that would work for you much better, whether it was clothes or anything, on the exterior. Because you had the interior, like you had the inside capability of looking for information and taking it in and actually doing something with it. Like I had faith that you would do something with the new information if I gave it to you.
And how?
And you wanted to better yourself. Like I got that overarching concept. Like he would better himself.
So you knew that after the first date?
I didn't know that after the first date, but after first date, I knew you were a thinker and you were inquisitive and you were asking questions and you were interested in other things than what you knew. So I think that was enough for me to say, like, okay, like I can roll with this, mentally. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the topic we're talking about here is cleaning your man up. So when you get with a guy who might not be, like, it's not that you're trying to change him, but you think he could improve, how much room for improvement is too much and how much is enough that you would say, you know what, I'll take this on and do it. So another thing that I'll bring this up, because I'm an athlete. All right, so I played sports all my life up until that point. I was just getting out of pro sports at the time when we met. And I had like this athlete's foot situation.
Oh my God.
So
we're talking about this?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this because I've seen some men's feet and I'm not the only one. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
I had this athlete's foot situation that I got I remember I got this in Mexico. My foot was hurting so bad. It was like some kind of fungus or
You didn't have athlete's foot.
infection.
'Cause that's something different. You just had your
I
nail.
think I had athlete's foot and something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something else. So anyway, the nail was all fucked up on one of my feet. And listen, any men out there, you seen other men's feet, and women, you seen men's feet, you know I ain't the only one, so I ain't embarrassed to talk about this because it happened. So you saw that like the second time that we met,
Yeah.
right?
Because the second time we met, we went to have lunch on the beach
right.
at one of the restaurants on the beach, and he shows up in sandals
with no socks,
and no socks and tank top, and I show
right.
up in like slacks and like I had like a chiffon blouse and slacks.
What's
and
chiffon?
like
What's
chiffon is like this. Chiffon is a very fine natural fabric that is very fancy.
I know cotton, silk,
cotton.
cotton.
So like I was like casual chic is how I looked.
Casual chic.
Yeah, I had
the only chic
on.
I know is chic Loots from the Locks.
Oh my god.
Chic. All right, go ahead.
So
chic.
I had flats on. I didn't have heels because we were going to the beach. But let's just put it this way: I know how to dress for the occasion. I dressed for the occasion.
I was dressed for the occasion.
It was a lunch date, casual on the beach. I was still dressed up for it. And he shows up with sandals, his black toes hanging out of his old ass sandals. Those
Wait,
sandals,
how are my sandals old?
Oh my god, they were so old.
How was they old?
Oh my god, they were so ugly.
How do you know they were older?
They were old. They were worn out.
How could you tell?
I can tell when a sandal is worn out.
I don't think they was worn out. What was wrong with them?
You don't think they were worn out. That's why I'm here to tell you when your sandal is too worn out to wear.
I didn't think. I mean, I was walking. It wasn't all right. But anyway, you saw the athletes. Whatever was going on with my foot.
I saw your feet that day.
It was one foot. It wasn't both feet. It was one foot. All right. So you saw that foot, not feet, but foot, and you. That was like the second time we had met. So the first time you saw the clothes. The second time you saw the foot. Why did you keep going? Because you obviously you saw this guy needs some work.
Because I think that was the date when I started developing faith in you. Because we were talking about being vegetarian and all the girls that you've dated who gave you the vegetarian tips, and that's what we were talking about on that date. And I can tell that, again, you were looking for information, and once you got the information, you had used it in the past. You know, that's how you became a vegetarian, because of the girls that you dated who gave you this information and da 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 da. So I can tell that you wanted to work on yourself, and that was the. Yeah, that's when I said, okay, this wasn't a complete waste of time. Let's see what happens next.
Right. So eventually we got that cleared up. So my feet look great. I'll show you right now.
And why did we get it cleared up?
Because of you. Yes. So she eventually, this is by this point, so when it wasn't even that long. It was actually about a year.
Yeah.
About a year later. One day, at this point we were living together. I remember this day because she makes the bed every morning. So she was making the bed. She was in the bedroom cleaning the bed off. I was in the living room at my desk, and you came up to me, and you had like the, what do they call it, like the lint roller? What is that thing? So she had the lint roller that she uses on the bed every morning, and she showed me something off the lint roller. She was like, "Hey, come here, let me show you." No, you didn't have a lint roller. You called me into the room.
Oh,
I think she called me into the bedroom. She was like, "Come here, let me show you something," because I think we had black sheets. The sheets were black, and she pointed to like the foot of the bed on my side of the bed, and she was like, "Yo, every day this is coming off of your foot." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck you want me to do about it?" I wasn't doing it on purpose. I wasn't doing it on purpose. What you want me to do? And she was like, "We need to go to the doctor and do something about this." So then, like 2 days later, we was at the doctor.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that. It wasn't even a big process. All the doctor did was they clip your nail and send a sample to the lab, and you got to pay for that shit. That shit was like $200. You got to for them to send this little piece of nail to the lab. That's how they make their money. If you want to make money, be a scientist, because they just be robbing motherfuckers. So we went there. I had to go to another place to do another sample thing. Paid them like $200. Came back to the foot doctor. The doctor was a black dude. Shout out to the black foot doctor. And he was like, "Oh All you got to do is take these pills for like a month, and you got to put this gel on your toes every day after you shower for like
a year.
Was it a year?
A year. It takes
I think it was 9 months. 9 months.
Yeah, like almost a year to clean it up.
Right,
You had to take a pill, and every 3 months you had to do blood work to make sure the pill didn't damage your liver. It's a strong ass pill that they give you.
Yeah, I think I only did the blood work once.
Yeah, so you took the pill and then you stopped it, whatever.
I did the blood work. I think I only did the blood thing one time. Or I might not have did it at all. Actually, he was suggesting, I think I did it once. I didn't do it more than once. But anyway, you took a pill for like 30 days. You put this gel on your feet every day after you take a shower, so your feet are clean and dry. And that's it. And I did that for like, you had to do it for like 9 months. But after 9 months, the whole thing was cleared up. Like you would never know that there was ever any issue. So I finally got that cleared up. That shit was on my foot for like 10 years. And I never got it cleaned up. And there was only one other chick that had ever said anything about it. And she happened to be, she was Russian. The other chick who had said something. And she had recommended me to a foot doctor, but I never went. And she wasn't that adamant and we wasn't that serious. But she had noticed it and she had said something. But anyway, why are we talking about that? The point here is we talking about cleaning your man up.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to another woman as far as she sees a dude and he has some work that needs to be done? Like he's a work in progress.
Yeah.
How do you gauge whether he's a work in progress, like there's actual progress, or he needs work but there's nothing going on?
Progress.
Yeah, how do you advise another woman to figure that out when she's looking at her guy?
Well, same way as I said before, is he willing and interested? Is he interested in bettering himself? Because you can't help him. He has to help himself. He might not know the information, but if he's inquisitive, if he's looking, if he's asking questions, maybe in other areas he's inquisitive at least, but he has to want it for himself. You can't push it. There is a reason why for a year I didn't push it on you, because
that's true.
Actually, it could have been, I don't know why I waited for a year, but I didn't want to push anything on you. I wanted you to be educated on it and make your own decision. And that's why I showed that stuff to you on the bed, and then I also explained to you, like, yeah, I know this is just your crazy toenail, but it affects the rest of your body in many different ways. And we discussed that too, like how don't think that your crazy yellow toenail doesn't affect anything else and it's just a toenail. It's a part of your body and affects a lot of other organs inside of your body that you're not even aware of. The same way when your teeth are messed up, it affects your heart, it affects your blood, it affects a lot of other things. I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to go into it. So I gave you a fuller picture, like, hey, this is why it's good for you, and you listened, right?
That's true.
I wasn't pushy, so I would tell that
Very
woman,
true.
don't be pushy, don't tell him what to do, influence him. You know, you want to influence him, not push him, because if you push him, he's gonna not do it or reluctantly do it,
right,
and resent you in the process, and that's not what you want.
So how do you influence a person rather than push them? What's the difference?
I would say influencing him would be like what I did. You know, I was accepting of you the way you were. Like, it's not like I didn't date you because of your toenail, right? I accepted you, and then I carefully showed you, like, hey, you know, look at this stuff. This is not okay. What do you think? Right? And you're like, yeah. And then I slowly introduced you to a better way of doing something, or taking care of your toenails. So influence is, a lot of times influencing another person just means don't push anyone, right? Let them figure it out on their own. And if they don't, then give them pieces of information bit by bit and see if they bite, see if they're into it.
So you knew from early on, from our early encounters, our first couple dates, that I was the type of person who was some people have described me, they would say a sponge.
Yeah.
A person who gets, when you present information, they're taking it in. You can tell that they're listening and they're paying attention and they'll apply what they hear.
Right.
So because you knew that from our early engagements, you knew later on when the time was right, if you presented me some information, I would take to it.
I knew that was a done deal. I knew it was a done deal. I knew I was going to bring it up and I knew you were going to fix it. I just didn't want to sound too eager to fix it and undermine you in the process, because I still wanted to give you respect. Like, you're not a bad person or you're not dirty because of it or something. You just don't have the right information. So I had to do it with love, right?
Right.
Not be tough on you. If I was tough on you, you would probably be more rebellious. Knowing you would be like, get off my back.
Yeah, I'd have been like, shut the fuck up.
Right. So that's an opposite of influence, but I've influenced you.
So that's a good point that you made right there. And it's a little bit different from the topic, but that you brought that up. How do you develop the ability to do that? Because I couldn't have done that. Like, if you would have had the bad feet
Never.
and I saw it, I would have been on you like from the first day. Like, yo, what the fuck are you gonna do about that? Yo, let's call the doctor. I got a doctor on speaker. What'd you say? How do you develop that's like touch. How do you develop the touch, the finesse touch to get that message in on a person, but without doing anything that would ever make them feel defensive? How do you do that? Because I could not do it.
It's called being smooth. I think it comes from self-confidence and self-leadership. Like, as a woman, you have to have the confidence you have to believe in yourself, and then you have to feel good about yourself, and you have to know what it's emotional intelligence. Like, you have to be in touch with your own emotions to know what drives another person and how to influence their emotions. Like, if you don't understand your own emotions, you don't know how somebody else interprets, or how somebody else, you can't interpret other people's emotions, right? If you can't do it on yourself. So I think a big part of it is that, and it's also self-leadership in a way that, let's say I brought the new information to you, hey, you need to take care of this, and this is why, and you rebelled and you said no, and I was appalled by it and I was affected by it, that would be a lack of self-leadership. So I left room for myself, like, hey, if he's gonna say no, I'll be fine. I wasn't affected. I don't know how to answer that. I think it's emotional intelligence. And
so because you were not emotionally invested in how I would react. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Or something different?
Yeah. If you opposed,
what if I was just sitting there like, no, I'm good?
I would not be like devastated, or I would not be affected. Like, I wouldn't feel insecure, is what I'm saying.
So you didn't need me to agree with your position.
Exactly.
Right.
I had a certain level of detachment. Like, I don't need him to do it. I want him to do it because it's good for him. But many women will make mistakes of pushing it on you because it's their agenda. Right. It's not what's good for you, but it's what they want you to look like, or do, whatever it is that they're trying to influence, right? So they push and push and push because it's their agenda. It's not about you, it's about them. So I had to be, it wasn't about me. It was genuinely what was good for you. And if you approach it that way, you're not going to get upset about anything, right? Because it's his life. It's not my life. I accept him and love him with his nasty toenail for a year, but I had enough belief in my abilities that I can change. I know I can change this, and I know he's going to listen, and I know it's going to happen, because I would not live with that for the rest of my life. No.
And you wouldn't have got with a guy who you thought would never want to do nothing about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Right. I would have I've never dated someone who had that on their feet. Like, I've never. If I saw that, I would have been running the other way.
Well, you never dated a dude who put the work in that I put in on that court, but that's a different topic. Now,
and you don't know that.
You don't
know who I dated. You don't know.
Okay.
You don't know who got what kind of work in.
Okay. I do know who got what kind of work in on the court. I don't know about anywhere else. But on the court, I do know what work people did. Now, anyway, in conclusion, could you give, let's say, 3 takeaways for both a woman and a man? For the woman, looking at a man, what are the key 3 things you want to look at to know that this guy is worth investing in, even though he's not where he could be yet? And for a man, what are 3 key ways you can show a woman that even though you're not there yet, you are worth investing in while you're here?
So for a woman, how do you
Yes.
know that he is
3 key ways to know that he's worth investing in, even
worth
though he's not the best
where he
version of
wants to
himself
be,
yet.
or where,
Right.
yeah. I guess, does he have a general desire to better himself?
Mm-hmm.
Is he asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or looking for information? And then once he gets some kind of information, is he applying that information? I think
Okay.
that would be the best 3.
Okay, so he's looking
Right.
for it, he's asking for it, and he's applying it.
Right.
Right,
So,
so-
not just potential. Potential means jack shit.
All right, you can work in the NBA.
Yeah. Potential means nothing.
So for a man who is not where he wants to be yet, he's on the way, and he wants to show a woman. Let's say he meets a woman who might be a little bit above him right now.
Right.
He wants to show her that he is worthy of her still dealing with him, even though she might be looking at him like, yo, you don't look nothing like my last dude.
Right.
How can he show that he's worth it and he is going to get to that level to make her say, you know what, all right, you don't look how I'm used to my man looking, but I see you getting there, so I'll give you a chance.
Right. I think you might not be able to show her where, you might, it's called progress, but you might not
Right.
be able to show her progress in the area where you're not there yet, right?
Right.
But you can show her progress in another area. For instance, if you're not at the job where you want to be, but you are working on your body, for instance, like you're working on your health and fitness, then she sees like, okay, this guy is capable of progressing. He is driven by something, right? So it's like show her progress and show her that you want to better yourself. And again, like you're applying the information. Like, are you working on yourself? Are you not working on yourself? You might not be where you want to be, but she will see that you're growing, you're progressing, you're getting better at something every day. I don't know if it's that's 3 things, but that's what comes to my mind.
And so that you are a person who is focused on forward progress.
Right.
You're getting better at something on a consistent basis, and I think that's enough. I mean, you're showing it.
Right.
The
And
proof
then-
will show.
Yeah, and let her see it. Like you can't just do it on the download. Let her see your progress, right? She needs to know that you're doing it.
Right. Okay. I think we should close it right there. So this is the Anna and Dre show. My name is Dre Baldwin. I'm on Instagram at Dre Baldwin. I'm just on Google. Just Google me. You can find me easily.
Just Google him.
This is Anna. Oh, you tell them who you are.
Anna Dolce. You can find me at annadolce.com or Instagram Anna_Dolce.
And this is the Anna and Dre show. And you can find
That's my
me
thigh.
right here. That's what I'm gonna do.